Welcome to Set Free 24/7. My name is Robert, and I am so glad that you're here. Today, we're just learning how to live in the freedom of one day at a time. And sometimes that begins with just one step at a time. And there's a verse that I wanted to share with you out of Hebrews that has a little bit to do with that. It's Hebrews 12, verse 1 and 2. This is out of the Message version. It says, "Do you see what this means? All of these pioneers who blazed the way, all of these veterans that are cheering us on. It means that we'd better get on with it. Strip down, start running, and never quit. No extra spiritual fat, no parasitic sins. Keep your eyes on Jesus, who both began and finished this race that we're in." I have another devotional that I've been reading, and it's the Celebrate Recovery Devotional. I'll put a link in for both of these down in the comments if you wanted to follow along. Both are great books, and I've had them for years. But this one is day 2, and it's just a single step. So it really fit in well with this. So I can remember being at a point when I knew that my life was spinning out of control, where I knew that there were a lot of things that I needed to change. But I didn't want to alter my current lifestyle too much. So I looked for ways to get some help without having to make drastic changes. I attended some secular meetings, for example, but didn't really want to commit to their programs. And then when nothing would happen, I would say, why isn't this working? Maybe God doesn't love me. Maybe I don't deserve to change. I know I've been there. I've been through rehabs. I've been through other secular programs. I've gone to AA. I've gone to Celebrate Recovery. And I know I've had a lot of those same feelings. The truth is, I didn't need one more thing to cram into my messed up life. What I needed was something to replace my messed up life. I needed to let go of my old life and just hand it over to God. And I finally did that. And now, for this person, it was 20 years later. He says, I can't imagine why it took me so long to do something that was so right, so amazing, and so true. That's exactly how I feel about it. I'm 12 years later, and I look back at those times and I don't even know how I allowed myself to get to that point. He finishes here by saying, a race begins with a single step, and so does recovery. The only way to run with perseverance is to hang on to God's hand and let Him take the lead. True change comes only when we die to ourselves and allow Christ to set the pace. I wasn't a runner my whole life. I actually started running, it was August 1st of 2014. I was finishing up a 5-year prison sentence out in Nevada. I was in a little tiny town called Wells, Nevada. And we had a half-mile track that was there that we were allowed to go out on every day. So August 1st of 2014, I started running a half mile 3 to 4 times a week, and then upped it to a mile, then upped it to a mile and a half. And I just kept going just to keep myself busy and lose a little bit of weight. 6 months later, I was released, and man, I had dropped probably 30 or 40 pounds. One of the first races that I did when I got out was the Amway Riverbank Run here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's a 25K. It was a big deal because at that point, I had only ran 6 miles, was the longest distance I'd ever ran at one time. So when I finished the 25K, which is 15 and a half miles, I just had this overwhelming sense that I can do hard things if I just stick to it. If I just put my mind to it, set some goals, keep one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, right? That's how you get to the end of that race. And it's the same thing with sobriety. It's the same thing with just going through your day-to-day life. It's just one step at a time. Don't try to look and figure out what's going on tomorrow, next month, next year. That'll all take care of itself. Just worry about doing the next right thing today. So what's your next right thing? What kind of goals do you have set up for you in your life? What are some new goals that maybe you're trying to see if they fit into your life the way that it's going now? I invite you to think about a word maybe that you can focus on for the year. Mine is build. I really felt God placing it on my heart that there was a foundation that He had laid in my life, and now He was going to build on that. So what's your word of the year? Have you ever done anything like that? Do you do resolutions? I would love to hear about it down in the comments. Feel free to drop them down below. But friends, that's all I have for you today. I hope that was a little bit of hope and inspiration, and just know one step at a time, one day at a time, and you'll get through this, I promise you. So have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you here tomorrow.